Hidely ho there, neighbors. I hope you're all well. I hope the world is treating you well. I foolishly said Thursday would be the day I did my Ultron episode, and I really meant Friday, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, because I said I would. Now, so this is an intro episode to the character of Ultron. Ultron is obviously going to be the chief villain in Age of Ultron, the next Avengers movie. And the trailer looks amazing, it looks awesome. There's even an extended trailer out there that shows a little bit more of the Avengers hanging out and having fun. So there's that. Now, a few things about Ultron. Ultron is one of the prime Avengers villains. There are only a few that really you could go, alright, this is the Avengers villains. As opposed to, say, like Loki, while he is certainly integral to the creation of the Avengers, is a Thor villain who sort of ends up getting involved with the rest of them. There are a few villains, however, over the years, that have been, these are guys who take on the entire team for obvious reasons. Namely, that the entire team is massively powerful, and therefore it takes all of them to stop this one guy. One is Kang, the Conqueror, from the 30th century. He's a time-traveling sociopathic conqueror. So, yeah, the fact that they can even stop him is impressive. Because he has super tech and a desire to just conquer the world, and can travel through time. This should equal I win, but apparently they manage to stop him every time. Then there's the Masters of Evil. I'll get back to them in a minute. Usually they're led by Baron Zemo, but there are a few other times where they've been led by other people. And they're just sort of a collection of bad guys that get together and go after the Avengers. They've come up several times, and they eventually lead to the group called the Thunderbolts, which I'll do an episode about at some point. And then there's Ultron. Ultron is an interesting mix of things. First off, the most obvious inspiration for the character is Frankenstein. Ultron is a machine that was created by Hank Pym to help him, fight crime and, save the world. And Ultron goes bad, as these things sort of happen. Terminator is a good example of that as well. Also, the Forbin Project, Colossus, the Forbin Project, if you've ever seen that movie. The notion that our creation will get out of our control is a fairly common one, and probably ties into the whole complicated relationships between fathers and sons. That said, there are some interesting twists with Ultron, to say the least. He was created as a machine, like I said, by Hank Pym, but that is not how he's introduced. He is introduced in issue 54, when he appears as a new villain leading the Masters of Evil, called the Cowl. And you don't actually see his face until the last panel of the comic, and it's a fake out even. Actually the villain is Jarvis, and the Cowl is actually just this is a stand-in. Look, it's a robot stand-in. This is the villain over here. Look over here. Don't pay attention to the robot. The robot is the real villain. And that is sort of indicative of the weirdness of how they use the character over the years. He is not a logical character. He is based on Hank Pym's mental frameworks and then some arbitrary logical rules. Unfortunately, Hank Pym is insane. And he's got problems. He's got a lot of problems. He develops a personality disorder through the Avengers run. He, at one time, beat his wife, so that's charming. He is, he's been shown to have bipolar disorder on a couple occasions. He has, really just not okay. He's not mentally stable, and he used his mind as the basis for Ultron. As a result, Ultron is nutty as a fruitcake. He is completely crazy. He hates Hank Pym and humanity in general. He doesn't have a logical sort of basis for why he's trying to get rid of the world. He hates them. He hates them all. Pure emotional despises humanity. Except for Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, who he actually likes because Hank Pym liked her, and it's a thing. Now, you've got that basis, right? Now, ignore that for a second. Ultron was a robot, but it's easier to think of Ultron as more of a program. He's like a virus, an AI, but he doesn't necessarily have to have a body. He has had so many bodies. I think that there's an Ultron 53 floating around in one of those stories. He's been around, and they keep destroying his bodies, and his program gets uploaded into some other body that he built as a sort of an escape hatch, as it were. On a couple of occasions, those bodies have been made of adamantium, which in Marvel Comics is the damn near indestructible metal that Wolverine's bones are coated in. So when he's in that form, he's really hard to kill. But it's not the only way to, only body he's ever had. He's had several of them. Many bodies over the years. And as a result, he doesn't necessarily have one specific thing you can defeat. Now, it also means that he changes his tactics from time to time, depending on what writer's dealing with him at the time. In a more recent version, there was his program interfaced with Iron Man's technology. And this is at a point where Iron Man's technology was more nanotech, and it was suffused in his body. So he took over Iron Man's body and all his technology and made him look like a woman. Because reasons. Anyways, almost destroyed humanity, and of course they defeated him, because that's what they do. He's been in the form of a planet-spanning network of techno-organic creatures called the Phalanx. The Phalanx are related to a creature named Warlock. This gets complicated. They are techno-organic, which is to say that they are not cyborgs. Their technology is almost biological in its fluidity to it, but it is still a technological base. So when they managed to grab this program that they found floating around in the ether, it took them over and became Ultron, head of the Phalanx. And that was the basis for one of the major cosmic crossovers, which led to the creation of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the modern interpretation of them that we see in the movie. kind of comes around. Anyways, he's done a lot over the years. He has been one of the prime villains of the Avengers, and he's come up often, over and over and over and over again. And his interactions with them has actually led to some other interesting things. The character of the Vision was created by Ultron to infiltrate the Avengers, to try and destroy the Avengers. And the Vision rebels against Ultron. There is a recurring theme here. Ultron is rebelling against his father every single time he tries to create something that has a personality. It rebels against him. So you've got Vision, who becomes one of the most distinctive and memorable heroes in the Avengers. In many ways, he's very similar to Martian Manhunter. He's got similar powers and not a dissimilar personality in a lot of ways. He can phase through objects. He can change his density, fire energy blasts. He's really strong. He does a lot of things, but he's at heart a machine with very limited emotional inputs. The emotional inputs that they got for him came from a guy who was named Wonder Man. I didn't make up the name. Wonder Man. Before he became a hero, had his mind scanned, and Ultron used that mind scan as the basis to make Vision, and Vision fell in love with Scarlet Witch, and they became a couple, and they had kids later, because reasons. Gets very convoluted. I'm just going to toss some things out here that are going to get very convoluted. But, yes, Vision, the machine, and his wife, the Scarlet Witch, who can alter reality with a whim, created children. So that happened. And, they hated Ultron. Ultron hated them. Ultron decided, well, you know what? He needed a wife. Because, why not? Frankenstein had the Frankenstein bride. Why not Ultron? Ultron decided, I need a bride. I need a partner. Because his thinking was Hank Pym has Janet Van Dyne. And I like Janet Van Dyne because I'm based on Hank Pym. Maybe I need to get my own version so I can get over that whole liking her, and then I can kill her. And that would be great. Craziness. Did I mention he's crazy? Absolutely batshit crazy. Forgive my language. Now, so he makes a female Ultron named Jocasta, who turns on him because he gave her a mind, which was based on Janet Van Dyne, actually. And she turns on him and, becomes a hero herself. She sort of helps out the Avengers over the years after that to oppose him the several times that he shows up. Now, he tried another time to make a being with a mind that was able to think and feel and all that to infiltrate the Avengers and destroy them from within. And it became this character named Victor Mancha, who actually rebels because that's what all of Ultron's children do, apparently. And he actually becomes part of the Runaways, which is a very popular comic and is well worth reading. You see a common theme. Ultron makes something, gives it a mind, and it goes, "You're an idiot, I'm leaving." That said, he still keeps coming. For all his insanity, which is really his biggest flaw, is if he were actually a logical computer intelligence set on destroying the world, he probably would have succeeded. But because he's absolutely crazy and based on the mind of a madman, he always fails. Which is interesting. And I say he is a robot, but he is based on a male human intelligence, which is why I use the male form on him. It's, not to be confusing or anything. Now, where to go with this? Right. Now, he has shown up in several alternate futures that they've shown over the years. Ultron is a recurring villain for the Avengers. He keeps popping up. He will continue to pop up because he's damn near impossible to destroy. He always creates a backup. One of the more recent versions was Age of Ultron, the comic, which has almost nothing to do with the movie, apparently, of the same name, although they both involve Ultron. In Age of Ultron, he wins. He has absolutely won. And to defeat him, the heroes go back in time, break the universe, just to beat him. He basically gets to the, alright, the gloves are off, I'm done screwing around, and takes over. And the resistance is, not effective against him. And the time travel seems to be the only means to deal with it. So they travel back, Wolverine and the Invisible Woman travel back in time and try and prevent Hank Pym from making Ultron in the first place. And initially their solution to this was Wolverine went back in time and killed him. Because that's what Wolverine does. He kills things. It's kind of his go-to trick. And that didn't work out so well because without Hank Pym, a bunch of bad things happened. And so they realized that, okay, we have to keep him alive, but we've also got to stop him from making Ultron. And they realized they can't just talk him out of it because he's crazy. He's batty. But they convince him to help defeat Ultron, and so he creates a sort of a trigger in Ultron way back when he first creates him, so that later on, years later, he can destroy him. We'll see if that sticks, honestly. But it damaged the timeline so much that it caused alien races to come to destroy the Earth. It sent Galactus into the Ultimate Universe. It brought in a character named Angela, who was a former Image Comics character and now is in the Marvel Universe. It completely broke the universe, and, now they have to deal with the consequences of it. Just to defeat Ultron. I suspect that when they fix the problem that he created, they'll get Ultron back. Because that's how it works. In other versions of the future, he has conquered the Earth several times. There's one version of the future where he is, he's going to win. He's going to conquer the world. And Kang goes through time and grabs a bunch of people to come attack him and defeat him. And there's a lot of strange back and forth in that, but it basically boils down to one of the heroes goes to Ultron and says, look, if you don't let them succeed at this, the whole universe will be destroyed along with you. So he lets them succeed and they defeat him. It gets even more interesting. Now that storyline ties into something that they did as a one-off animated thing. And actually I really enjoy this little animated feature. It's called Avengers Next. And the notion is it's the kids of the Avengers in the future after Ultron rose to power and killed all their parents. See, we're cheerful. It's kid-friendly. Yeah, all the Avengers except for Iron Man and Vision get murdered by Ultron. And their kids get raised in secret by Iron Man. And in the thing, they go and find the one other Avenger that never got killed, and that was the Hulk. And between the Hulk and them, they defeat Ultron. And that storyline ties into the Avengers storyline, where Kang is going through time and grabbing a bunch of people. It's a neat film, and I definitely recommend it. It's actually better than I remembered. I went and rewatched it recently. It is a little dark, so I don't recommend it to really young kids unless you enjoy explaining, what happened to Captain America and Black Widow and why are they dead. Ultron is one of the more interesting characters. He is a commentary on the things that we create destroy us, which is a common theme in a lot of art, honestly. That which we make is our weakness. That which we make tears us apart to make it. And, we see that in the complex relationships between parent and child. And so it is fitting that the children of the Avengers defeat Ultron, who is a child of an Avenger. Anyway, that is my brief intro to Ultron. He is really a variable character. He has changed a lot depending on who was writing him at the time. So there is some inconsistency in how he's presented. But that is in keeping with the origin of the character because he's insane. He will change depending on which iteration you got. What particular form of insanity is in charge at that time. I will include some links to some stories that you might want to check out. I am primarily, if I can find them in trades on Amazon or what have you, I'm sure I can find Age of Ultron on there, but I will recommend that you check out the Marvel Unlimited app, because it's, a set monthly fee for all-you-can-eat comics, and they've got his first appearance in there, the first appearance of the Vision. They've got a lot of that whole storyline. I went back and reread a lot of that recently to prepare for this. They're all there. So go check that out. I think they even have a trial currently. So go give them a check out and read the storylines, because he is a fascinating character, even beyond his death in Avengers AI. Is all about the fallout of what happens after he dies and the hole he leaves in the universe, because it's a bunch of artificial intelligences, most of which are related to Hank Pym in some way, and what he did to destroy Ultron. So he leaves a big footprint on the universe, and you can learn a lot about the Avengers and the overall Marvel Universe by reading about Ultron that way. I hope the primer helps. I hope the explanation helps. I hope I wasn't too all over the place. And subscribe, like, share with all the peoples, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.